Ciao my friend, welcome. Today we would like to talk about how to create a movement habit. And I know that I'm a yoga teacher and this is supposed to be a yoga channel, but the truth is that I do so many different things. So I really thought I don't need to pretend that I just do yoga in my life, right? And I would love, in fact, to share with you all the different types of movements I do. Because in the end, yoga is not a complete practice. This is my personal opinion, and you may find different opinions, of course. But, for example, we don't have pulling motions in yoga. So, think about, climbing. We climb, we grab something, we pull ourselves up, okay? Or we pull something like this. The type of muscles that we use in these movements are used in yoga, but more in pushing motions, right? Push, push. So if we are really being, very annoying, it's not a complete practice. Also, it's totally fine if your own yoga practice is not complete. And by this I mean, if you prefer to have a very relaxing, chill practice, perhaps more in yin style, yoga nidra, if you're doing lots of meditation, so perhaps you're using yoga to do some very gentle movement. Well, that is awesome, and that's how I use it also most of the time. However, it's also, I feel like there is something missing, right? So our bodies are meant to move in a bunch of different ways, and if you do only one thing, you're probably kind of missing out on other potential improvements. And I also want here to acknowledge, the science, how far, let's say, the science has come in understanding what our bodies need to live a longer and healthy life. And for example, just to mention a few things, it's very important as we age that we increase the resistance training. So becoming stronger and using weights. So not necessarily using weights as in going in the gym. You can totally use your body as a weight, but really building strength and building muscle, especially as we age, is key to prevent a number of illnesses, and also, for example, to prevent osteoporosis that causes your bones to become weaker and to break more easily as we age. So really, so many different things, right? So if we really want to be nitpicky and annoying, there are a number of different movement practices, I'm going to call them, that we are supposed to do to really have a complete practice that does the best that we can do for our body long term. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what all of those things are in a moment. The other thing I want to say is just, it's really my personal preference to talk about lots of different kinds of sports, because I don't do only yoga, as I was mentioning at the beginning. I like to do lots of different other things. I like to run, I like to swim, I like to climb. I'm very bad at many of these, but it doesn't matter, it's what I enjoy doing, right? So, especially if you feel like you don't have a lot of time or if you don't have a lot of energy, it can feel a bit tricky to include yoga in your life if that means that you have to neglect other parts of yourself. If somebody came to me and said, look, you're a yoga teacher, you're supposed to do yoga every day and only yoga, and therefore you need to not go swimming anymore, for example, or not to do strength training. I love to move weights. I love to do powerlifting and stuff. So if somebody said to me, you need to neglect that part of your life that you enjoy because you're supposed to do yoga in a certain way, with a certain frequency, or do only yoga, well, F them, right? So I want to do what I want to do. So this is why I really want to talk with you about this in general, to discuss together really how can we incorporate lots of different types of movements in our life, in a way that is very realistic, and not thinking that we have the whole day with nothing else to do, so we can do first yoga and then do that and then do that and then do that. Usually people don't really have all this time nor energy. And in fact, and I already talked about this in other videos, you don't have to do yoga every day. You don't. You can really create your own practice depending on what works for you. Right now, personally, my goal is to do a little bit of yoga every day. However, I'm not going to focus on yoga as my main movement every day, which means that I could, for example, use a bit of yoga as a warm-up for other practices, or as a stress management practice in the evening, or as a sleeping aid in the evening. So I may do a form of yoga almost every day, but it doesn't necessarily look like you think it's going to look like. I'm not going to do 1 hour of yoga, of super complete asana every day. So I want to do a little exercise with you. So I have here my bullet journal, and I would like first of all to talk a bit about all the kinds of movements that I want to propose on today and on this channel in general. And also then I want to, after talking, I want to do together a bit of a very practical exercise to plan out how we are going to incorporate all these different kinds of movements in our daily routine. So for this reason, I encourage you to have a pen and a piece of paper. And I have already done this, but I'm going to basically use a timer to so that you can also stop the video if you need more time, and to basically guide us through thinking about what are the actual movements that you enjoy and that you would like to do, and then using the same timer structure to actually plan the next goals for you, looking really at your calendar, at your everyday life. So in fact, in this sense, you don't need to sit on a yoga mat. Okay, you can do this at your laptop or wherever. It's fine. This is just my filming station, so I'm ready here. So I wrote on my bullet journal: slow and steady lives a long, healthy and happy life. That's honestly, in general, my goal. So perhaps this is, the first thing that you kind of need to think about. What is your motivation to move your body? No judgment. It can be literally anything. Okay? Just make sure that it's something that really comes from within, that is something that feels very genuine for you. Okay? So for me, I realized that my goal is to enjoy moving my body. I want to feel at ease with my body. And it really has nothing to do with how my body looks. It has a lot more to do with how I feel in it. and what my body can do. So if tomorrow I want to go for a walk with a friend, am I going to feel miserable or am I going to enjoy it? And how do I train to get to a point where my body feels comfortable enough that I can actually enjoy that activity? So you could have a number of different goals. It's totally fine. It really is about you, my friend. So write it down, think about it. What is my goal? What do I want to get from this? And I invite you to think about, is this goal something that I'm supposed to do? Something that I should want? That, I don't know, my parents or society or my man or whoever wants me to do? Or is it actually what my heart craves? And pick the second. And don't tell anybody. If you have some expectations coming onto you from society, from anybody around you, just keep your goals for yourself. It can be your secret. You don't have to shout out, I actually don't want to lose weight, I don't give a shit, I just want to be happy. Maybe the end of that it's going to even lose weight as a consequence of my daily movement habit. So it's really, we're getting real here. It's really my own personal journey with thinking about all of these topics brought me. I want to move because of the joy that moving brings me. I want to feel at ease and at peace in my body. And maybe the end result as a unforeseen consequence may be that my body is lighter. It's definitely going to be stronger though. It's definitely going to be fitter. I'm definitely going to be able to do more things because I enjoy them. And so that's really my motivation, honestly. I already love myself. And this is why I want to enjoy myself in my life. Hello, look who's here. Ciao Neve. Ciao Neve. This is Neve. She's my lovely yoga assistant and she loves to destroy my mat. But it's fine. It's fine. Yes. So be as confident as a cat, as beautiful as a cat, and just do whatever you want to do. So, I want to move every day. I want to do all the different types of sports and movement kinds that I enjoy. Then, another thing I want is to build a little bit of discipline, a little bit of consistency. So I don't want to do necessarily something super hard every day, okay? But it's more about, let's try to focus on doing something every day and not on doing a perfect month of super intense training and then not doing anything for 3 months. That does not help me at all. Because every time it's difficult to start over and I kind of feel like shit because I feel like my body forgot everything that it used to know how to do. So that's also the other thing that you should really consider. Movement is medicine. I really believe this and I really saw this on my own skin that when I don't move, and this could be yoga, this could be another thing, it doesn't matter. It's clear that our human bodies are made to move because when we don't, personally I feel like everything falls apart. I don't want to be dramatic, but my mental health is worse when I don't move. Everything is worse when I don't move. I sleep worse for sure. I don't manage stress as well, right? Mm-hmm. So, and anytime, also this is, I wonder if it's something that has to do with age. Let me know in the comments if that happens to you as well. That when I don't move, I actually have more pain in my body than when I do. So if for a little while I've had maybe some pain in my foot or in my knee, then when I start moving regularly again, the pain stops. I'm sure some scientist out there has the official answer as to why, but it's true. I saw this on myself. And I'm sure this has something to do with the fact that when you build muscles protect your body literally, especially as I have a bit of a hypermobility in some joints, especially in my knees. So the muscles keep the joints together. And if I am not strong enough in the muscle, then the joint can just wobble around and it's easier for me to get injured. So movement is medicine. Try it out. So let's talk about let's say the different kinds of movements and what the science says that we are supposed to do. So there are a few things that are really important to consider. The first one is about strength. I already talked about this, that it's important to build strength in our bodies, especially as we age, especially if we have some kind of chronic illness, right, or anything. How do we create strength? With progressive overload. So we need to push ourselves hard enough that our muscles say, oh my god, we were not able to do this. We broke down during the movement. We were not able to lift that your groceries. And so next time we need to be prepared, and therefore your body puts on more muscle and more strength. So the individual fibers in the muscle become stronger. You are able to contract them more for a longer time, etc. As an adaptation to that overload. But it also needs to be progressive. So we are not going to run a marathon tomorrow, all right? It's an hyperbole, but the point is we need to go slow and increase a little bit every time, very slow. And in time, our body adapts and we'll get there. And we are going to increase our strength. So first thing. So it is recommended to do some form of resistance training for strength between 3 and 4 times per week. Doesn't have to be 1 hour in the gym, okay? I'm going to actually do some videos dedicated to this and showing you the type of exercises that I do. The other important thing regarding resistance training is using compound movements. So it's not as helpful for our body long term to do more articular movements. So what am I talking about? Let's say that this is very heavy and I lift this weight like this, I'm only pretty much using my bicep muscle here, okay? If I do a squat, I'm using so many different muscles. I'm using all my legs. I'm using my core to keep my upper body stiff as we go down and up, right? So this makes it much more easy to plan because you pretty much only need 4 movement categories: squats, deadlifts, rows, and presses. So basically push and pull movements and hinge movements at the hips and up and down movements. So I'm going to talk in another video how to structure a workout around this. The other thing that is recommended to do is zone 2 cardio. I'm sure you've heard about this in other videos around, but this is recommended to do 2 to 3 times a week, about 30 to 45 minutes ideally. What does this even mean? Okay, you don't need to run. If you like to run, sure. But it's just walking, okay? And this is helpful for our cardiovascular system. So we're not talking about muscles, we're not talking about tendons and bones, etc. Our heart. The first cause of death everywhere in the developed world is cardiovascular diseases. Because we are too sedentary, guys. We are sitting the whole day, and I do too. So I don't particularly enjoy dying of cardiovascular diseases, so I'd rather do some cardio to live a long and healthy and happy life. So this could mean, again, you go for a walk, 30 minutes, walk or hike a couple of times a week, okay? The other thing that we usually don't really realize is the NEAT, it's called NEITAT. This is the movement, just in case you want to look this up elsewhere. This is the movement that we do throughout our days without even realizing, okay? So, for example, is the fidgeting that we do, is the, you sit down and you stand up because perhaps in your office job, you just do this without realizing, or this is going to buy something, walking to the bus stop, all the things that are not exercise, where you're still moving your body and you don't maybe even think about it. And honestly, this is basically, a step back, sorry. When we think about all the energy that we burn, that we use during the day, we have the metabolic basal rate, MBR, which is what we use when we basically lay down, if we don't do anything, right, is the energy that our body uses just to stay alive and perform all the functions. On top of this, there is this neat energetic output, which is really a pretty big part. And we don't even know that we are moving, but we are moving. So especially if you don't have a movement habit and you really think that it's going to be hard to start yoga often, to start doing yoga, to start doing some other form of exercise, okay, try to just be a little bit more active throughout your whole day without doing any workouts, without going for a walk, without doing this cardio that we were talking about, without using weights, without doing yoga, okay? It can be as little as I will try to stand up every 30 minutes and walk around this room and sit down again when I'm working at my laptop. Or perhaps there is an activity that you used to do sitting down and instead you do it walking, all right? I'm calling a friend, I'm going to do it slowly walking around the house rather than sitting down. These are really the things that can make a huge difference, and you don't have to look in your schedule and find 30-40 minutes of time. So let's say that you're a very busy person, you're a busy parent, you have a demanding job, whatever, you have a long commute, right? You may not be able to find a time slot, maybe not right now, but you can still increase your movement every day. Basically, break up the sedentary time. This is the point. If you need to sit down for your job, I always had office jobs, 8 hours a day sitting down. When you think, or every time you send an email, stand up and sit down, right? Very small, stupid things, but it makes a difference. So, where were we? Sorry, I'm rambling so much, gosh. Okay, so, another category, let's say, of movement is mobility and flexibility. And of course, I mean, if you're here on a yoga channel, it feels obvious, you do yoga to improve your mobility and flexibility. What is that about? Because, I mean, you may not care at all about doing the splits or touching your toes, okay? Which is what people usually think about when we think about flexibility. But again, especially in a longevity and movement is medicine thought track, this is about being able to put on your shoes by yourself. Being able to, you dropped the pen, being able to go down and fetch it. Being able to, and I know that I'm thinking, about longevity and becoming old, but I'm an old person and I fell down. How am I going to get up? You need strength, and that's why that's the kind of first pillar for me. But you also need mobility, because you need to be able, for example, without hands, to do this, okay? Ta-da. Without hands, to go down, okay? So if your body is mobile, and if your joints, and this is about the joints as well, if your body is mobile, you have less of a risk of injury overall, because you increase your range of motion, which just means how much you can move a part of your body, okay? And this means that when you do the other sports and movements that you want to do because you enjoy them, you're less likely to be injured. A mistake that often sportsy people do is to not focus on this at all. They go and run, they go and do their sports, basketball, volleyball, soccer, whatever. They go and hit the gym and do weights. Awesome. But especially as you grow older, I'm 36 when I'm making this video. I'm not old, but I'm probably not talking to a 15 years old. I'm assuming, I don't know. If you are 15, say hi. What was I saying? It's important to not neglect this part of movement, because it's really complementary to the other sports. I'm assuming that if you're doing yoga, you probably have this kind of part taken care of, because a lot of what we do in yoga could be also related to mobility and flexibility. But that's also just to mention that it's another important part. So, the last important point I want to make before we work through how to actually structure our movement habit is to consider that we want to create a movement habit for life. I already touched on these points in other ways before, but the, the point here is very much we don't want to do something that is not reasonable, that is not that does not fit our lifestyle, and that is something that would require a huge effort, and therefore as soon as there is something else going on, you don't do it anymore. The point is, especially if we are sedentary, how do we build a movement habit? So this is very much what the exercise is about. So grab your pens, and first of all, I want you to write down what is your motivation, as I said. Why do you want to move and to create a habit around this? Perhaps you want to be less in pain, feel more at ease with your body, be stronger, be there for your kids. Doesn't matter what it is. It's totally fine also if it's not, if you feel like it's not such a serious reason. It's your life and you can do whatever the fuck makes you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt other people. So if your end goal is, I want to move more because hopefully that is going to mean that I'm going to lose weight and be hot, I don't know. First of all, you're definitely hot as you are, but it's fine. If that's your motivation, it's fine. If you want to fit in smaller clothes, okay, good. No problem. Just write it down and remember. So for me is, I want to move every day because movement is medicine. Then I invite you to write down 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. I don't know how to count anymore, guys. 5 columns or points. One is strength. The other one is cardio. The other one is mobility. And the other one is fun. And the last one is skills. So, try to think about what are the things that you already do in your life that could fit in these categories. So for example, with strength, you could think about, okay, I actually join once a week the gym. Maybe because this is just already part of what you are doing, okay? Or maybe there's nothing, and it's fine if there's nothing, okay? We don't need to do everything all the time. Then cardio. Personally, I want to run. I want to run because one of my goals that I have in skills is run 5 kilometers. Because yes, this is what I want to do. That's it, okay? I want to learn how to run for 5 kilometers. So that's also kind of going to be my cardio. It doesn't have to be running, okay? It can be totally something else. Mobility. Of course, in mobility I put yoga. And I also put walking. I just want to try to increase how much I walk every day to move myself more. That's it, okay? And this for me is really connected to mobility because I used to have an injury to my foot that didn't allow me basically to walk for a few years, and that really, really, really sucked. So I kind of had this flash of, like a flash forward, I don't know, of I really don't want to get to this point ever again in my life if I can avoid it, where it hurts to just walk to the bathroom to pee, okay? So in this sense, I'm thinking about mobility because there is one thing I absolutely don't want to lose, and which is my ability to walk. And finally, fun. And for me, this is very important because, as I said, we want to build a habit that we enjoy, that we're going to stick with, and that we generally just have fun with. Fun for me is very important, okay? And so here I put two things that I want to do for fun. One is swimming, and the other one is climbing. And basically this means to me that I'm not going to put any goal around these two sports. It's just something that I want to remember. I'm doing this because I have fun when I do it, and therefore I want to try to do them, more or less every week, because I have fun. That is my motivation, and of course that also means that I'm moving more, and I'm going to be happier. It's going to fit my goals, but yeah, basically I'm doing it because I have fun with it. So if you want to stop now the video to take a few minutes to really think about these 5 categories and put down what genuinely speaks to you, okay? Talking about the last category, skills. Now this is something, if you want, you can actually skip this, but it helps me to put down something very specific that I want to be able to do. So this is very much like more of a very specific goal. So it's not a habit, but perhaps it's something that I want to get there, and once I get there, I'm happy. Well, I also want to be happy before. And I want to be happy through the process to get there. But you know what I mean? It's basically a goal. So like a sort of a life bucket list with regards to movement. So for me, I want to work in yoga to do Pincha Mayurasana, which is an inversion on your, basically like a handstand, but not on your hands, on your forearms. Then I would love to get closer to the splits, because I have a very tight iliopsoas, which is a muscle that is basically here, like this. So I would love to work on this specifically. Then the other thing I said is about running 5 kilometers. And the other thing I wrote down is to build discipline, basically be a little bit more consistent with having really a movement habit. So yeah, if you want, you can stop with the video, think about this some more, and just write down some things, okay? And in strength, I was talking about progressive overload, and basically, specifically about strength, what I would like to do is I want to build more strength by doing specific workouts at home. So I used to go to the gym and do different stuff there, but I really want to also not spend so much money. I have weights at home, I have the knowledge, and I'm going to also give you this knowledge, and this is why I'm here, to create my own workouts and do some strength training at home with weights. So yeah, this is what I wrote down. So stop the video, think about it, and then come back. So how are we going to actually tackle this? Is slow and steady, right? Slow and steady. So my first goal for the first 2 to 4 weeks is to just move every day. If you are a total beginner, a completely sedentary person, this should just be your goal. Very, very simple, okay? Don't think too much ahead. Don't overwhelm yourself with a bunch of courses and goals and stuff. Move your body every day. Explore what your body can do. So perhaps today is, I have a crazy day at work, I need to go out of the house the whole day, but I'm in the office, for example, and I'm driving and stuff, and so I am just going to, as an example, to get up from my desk more often. That's it. Then tomorrow you have a bit more time for yourself and you can say, okay, I'm going for a 15 minutes walk around the block. Done. Then the other day you say, okay, what do I want to do? I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do a 15 minutes yoga practice with a video online. Maybe one of my videos. Then another day you say, okay, it's the weekend, I have time, I'm going to ask a friend to, I don't know, go to the swimming pool and just slosh around and have fun. Move every day. Write this down. You have a calendar, you have a bullet journal, doesn't matter. I highly, highly encourage you to write down every day what did you do for movement. And everything counts, okay? So this may seem so stupid and small and silly, but this is how you actually build a movement habit that fits your genuine lifestyle. You're not going to last long term if you decide that you're going to do 30 minutes of high intensity interval training every morning at 6 a.m. No. Not if now your routine says that you wake up at 7:30 and you rush your kids to school and then you go to work. It clearly doesn't fit your lifestyle. Maybe it could be an end goal, long term. It's totally fine. But start by just moving your body every day. That's already going to be so transformative. Trust me. I saw this on my own skin. And this is also going to allow you to not be too hard on yourself, to treat yourself with a lot of kindness, and to discover what you genuinely enjoy. Maybe you can see if there is, a course that you can try, and for the next 4 weeks, once a week, you go try that course of Pilates or aqua gym or archery. I don't know, whatever you want to do that involves some movement. So start just by focusing the next 2 to 4 weeks, building a daily movement habit. Follow your feelings, both in terms of emotions and the feelings that your body has, the sensations rather, to understand what really fits not only your schedule, but what nourishes your body rather than making it feel like crap. And everybody's different. This is why you have some people that are tall and slender and they run marathons, and you have some people who instead have the perfect leverages to do powerlifting. All bodies are awesome. All bodies have something that they can do. You just need to explore yours as it is right now and accept what it says. And if you discover that you're great at archery, awesome, right? So just try things out really with no judgment to yourself at all. And bonus points, you don't even have to pay anything, okay? There are a ton of course, resources online, but also you can just walk around your block and figure out, I don't know, maybe you enjoy walking uphill or whatever. You know what I mean? Just try things out. It's free. There are a ton of things that you can do for free. So just first step, 2 to 4 weeks, do this. Now, stop the video, ignore everything else I've said, and then once you have these 2 to 4 weeks under your belt, come back here and let's do the second step. So what is the second step? I want to be a bit more structured in this second step. So this is again maybe 1 month where you try a little bit more structured approach. hopefully after the first phase you discovered a bit better what you actually enjoy to do. So in the 5 categories at the beginning that I had you write down, I had a pretty clear idea. I had specific skills goals, I had specific workouts idea, I have yoga, I have running, right? I have walking, and I have, for fun, climbing and swimming. But maybe you have no idea about you and what you want to, and how you want to move. So after the first phase, maybe you have a clear idea. Now you can put down in your 5 categories some more details. So perhaps at this point, really the question is, how do you fit these things in your schedule? How do you actually make it work with your timeline, with your calendar, with all your other commitments? So I am going to start the second phase just by incorporating no more than 2 activities every day. And I want to preface this by saying I am one of those crazy people who has a lot of different interests, and so it's inevitable that I have many more activities. But if you found that you just enjoy walking, that's it. That's your daily activity, and you just want to perhaps do it more, or sometimes you do it a bit faster, sometimes you say you're more chill. Great, it's less complicated, right? I am in the fortunate/unfortunate position to wanting to include just so many different things in my movement habits that I do need to plan this a little bit more. So I just wrote down a small calendar of my typical week, because again it's very important to see already where are some gaps in your schedule where you could fit your movement habit. If you are not the kind of person who wakes up early, there's no point in just forcing yourself to do yoga every morning. You can totally try, but maybe it's not as realistic. And personally, with myself and my own journey, I noticed that it's much better to be more realistic with what my schedule looks like, rather than trying to become a morning person, okay? So, I want to be very specific with my goals, and then putting these goals in a schedule. So, first of all, I want to do a strength workout at home 2 times a week, with the end long-term goal to move to 3 times perhaps, we'll see, but for now 2 times a week workout. Then I want to do yoga at least 3 times a week. Then and by doing yoga I mean a longer session that is very complete, where I have both asana, pranayama and meditation. So a bit of a longer session, okay? I may still hop on the mat to do something else related to yoga, or very, very short practice the other days. We'll see. But basically it's not a primary goal of mine to do yoga every day. But I really want to do it, let's say 2 to 3 times a week. And then, because I have a running goal, I want to do a couch to 5K program twice a week. I have my own program that I used to use basically a couple of years ago when I was running regularly, so I'm just going to use that. Twice a week running. And then, as I said, I have swimming and climbing. Now, these activities are more for the weekend, so the weekend I want to be more free, I want to do stuff with my partner, with my friends, so probably climbing and swimming are going to be weekend activities. So, first thing, and now if you want to kind of use a timer and think about this and try to really make your goals a bit more precise, you can stop the video, use a timer, like 5 minutes, and prepare your daily schedule and clarify your goals. And then what I did is just to create a weekly schedule that can work for me. So for example, I don't want to run Monday and Tuesday. I want to have some distance between these similar activities. I also don't want to do a workout with weights Wednesday and Thursday because I don't have any recovery in between. So maybe the next day I'm going to be a bit sore. I'm not going to be able to make the most of that workout. So again, I'm going to have at least one day in between similar activities. And Sunday and Saturday, I consider them free because it's my fun activity. So I'm going to just write Sunday and Saturday and Sunday, it's fun activities, climbing, swimming, and walking. So this is just to remind myself that if I'm not able to go swimming or climbing for whatever reason, at least I'm going to walk, okay? And then the other days, Monday through Friday, this is what I wrote down. Monday, I'm going to do a longer yoga session and running. Tuesday, I'm going to do a workout and I'm going to focus on walking. Wednesday, I'm going to do again a longer yoga session. And Wednesday evening, I have a knitting club, so I know that I'm not going to have time for another activity, so I'm just going to make sure to walk a little bit during the day. So this is just basically overall walking, not necessarily going out and having a 40 minutes walk, like as a training session, but just walking through the day. Then Thursday, again, workout and walking, and Friday, again, yoga and running. Okay, so it's really going to be kind of well managed during the whole week. I have enough of a break between similar activities to allow my muscles to recover. And looking at my work calendar, my family calendar, this really works with my other events and commitments during the week, such as knitting club, right? So really take your time to schedule this, and after this famous 2 to 4 weeks of just move every day and explore, the second phase is trying to get used and really building the habit of sticking to this schedule. Now, schedules can change if you have all of a sudden a different job, different life situation, whatever. You may need to change the schedule completely, and that's fine. It's important to be flexible. We want to have a movement habit for life, right? So, yeah, this is what I will be aiming for the next month. And I want to bring you with me, so I'm going to share my workouts with you. So if you want to also jump on this journey and do similar activities as I do, we can do both yoga and the workouts together. And the workouts in particular, I'll talk about in another video. We're going to use a very progressive overload so that we don't put too much meat on the fire. I don't know how to say it in English. So I'm going to show you everything. So if you're a total beginner, stick around, learn this with me, and let's do this together. So movement is medicine, and we really need to incorporate movement in our daily life in a way that feels fun and realistic and enjoyable. So just you do your own thing, explore what you can do with your body, be very gentle with yourself in this exploration phase. and let me know how you get on, and if you have anything specific that you want me to do a video about, or if you need my help for anything. I also offer one-to-one coaching, so just look in the description. I will share with you all the resources. So yeah, I'm very excited to start this with you. As I said also in other videos, I have been struggling a bit with consistency and even with having my own regular yoga practice. So basically you are my accountability buddy. So see you soon and take care, and thank you for joining me today.